Thank you. Today I'm going to talk about the amazing book, Bud Not Buddy. This book is very interesting, and it talks about an orphan boy named Bud. It was a Great Depression when his mama died. Bud looks at all the pictures and magazines his mother gave him every day. Then, one day, Bud kind of realized that a guy in the picture named Herman E. Calloway was his father. Bud ran out of the foster home and started searching for his father. Bud walked for days and days and miles, but he never gave up. Bud just persevered through his journey. At the end, instead of finding his father, Bud found his grandfather. He lives in his mother's old room in a house with his grandfather and 5 other band members. Now I'll leave it off to Chase and Taylor talking about the poem If.
Hi, I am doing the poem If. It is by Rudyard Kipling. I am doing the first and third stanza, and Taylor is doing the second and fourth. If you could keep your head when everyone is being lied to, then blaming their lies on you. If you could trust yourself when no one else does, but you know that they did it and make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not not getting tired by waiting. If you could stay at a place and not give up, being lied about, don't believe them. People hate you, don't give in, yet don't look too great or nor talk too wise.
If you can win and not brag, or if you can lose but not lose your confidence. If people lie about you, just don't get frustrated because it happens. If something you worked hard on is torn down and broken, don't worry, just fix it.
When you are winning, you cannot be beat. When you risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, you are risking to lose everything or to win everything. When you lose, you have to start at your beginnings again. To never tell anyone about your loss. If you could force every muscle to serve long after you're gone, and hold on when there is nothing in you except the will that says hold on. Hold on to your loss and win.
If you can be friends with both people who are successful and people who have nothing and treat them the same, stay strong and positive even when people hurt you. Follow these rules and you can be successful. Now here's Dylan and Dominic talking about Steve Jobs.
Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the speech Steve Jobs made at the 2005 Stanford commencement. Steve Jobs made 3 companies. Out of those 3 companies, he became very successful. He had a lot of obstacles in life, and all in all, he surpassed all of them. Steve Jobs was born on February 24th, 1955. His parents were uneducated, so they put him up for adoption. They later found out that the parents who wanted to adopt him were also uneducated, so they didn't sign the final adoption papers. Steve Jobs went to college but dropped out to take a calligraphy class. He then made the Macintosh. In this story, we learned that he became very successful by taking risks. Apple became a huge success, but then he got fired. He didn't quit. He then made Next and Pixar. Apple bought Next, and he was back in business. Steve Jobs left his mark on this earth, and now I'll leave it to Dominic.
In the year 2004, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with pancreas cancer. The doctors told him it was a type of cancer that was incurable and he should live no longer than 3 to 6 months. The doctor told Steve Jobs to get his affairs in order, which is the doctor's code for prepare to die. Later, the doctors did tests on him and said his pancreatic cancer is curable with surgery. He got the surgery, and he was fine. Steve Jobs later got pancreas cancer again and died in 2011. To this day, we still use his creations. For example, the Mac, the iPhone, and the iPad. From this passage, I learned that not to waste your time trying to act or do what someone else wants to do, but be yourself and enjoy your life. Your time is limited.
Have any questions, you may now ask them.
Who wrote these passages and why? We learned that life is limited, and we learned that we always have to make use of our time. And how we learned it? We looked through the message of each story we read.
Adrian?
How do these 3 passages connect?
They are connected by all the rules in them. For example, in Bud Not Buddy, there is Bud Caldwell's rules for having a funner life and being a better liar out of yourself. In Steve Jobs' speech, there are rules for life, and in If, there are rules to be successful.
In the poem If, the rule is to not give up. In But Not Buddy, it is to find your dream and to keep going. In Steve Jobs, it says not to waste your life trying to be someone else.
Sadie?
Why were these 2 topics or passages chosen?
They were chosen because they all have a message. They all have the message that life is limited and you shouldn't waste it. They're inspirational to show you that your life is precious and the gift of life is precious.
Kylie?
How are these passages similar and different?
They're similar because they all give us rules to live by, and they are different because Bud Not Buddy is a novel, If is a poem, and Steve Jobs is a speech.
Nadia?
Which of the 3 passages was your favorite?
My favorite passage was Steve Jobs because even though people doubted him, he still lived up to his dream and wanted to do it.
Mine is also Steve Jobs because he tells you how precious life is and that you can become successful in life.
Mine is Bud Not Buddy because He's only a child and he never gave up finding his father. In the end, he succeeded and I find it very inspiring.
Mine is Steve Jobs because it says not to waste your life trying to be someone else. If you waste your life, you won't have fun.
My favorite, also like Celine, is But Not Buddy because I think it's a very inspirational story that he never gave up and he's found his grandfather in the end, and it's just a great story.
Are there any more questions? Anderson?
What are some of the common problems that you guys all have that may be within need of others' help?
Well, some of the problems are that we get nervous sometimes and we do what other people tell us to do and we are not ourselves. And that is why we are learning this stuff, so we can be ourselves and be successful in life.
Please give a warm welcome to Nadia Whitaker and his speech.
Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you guys coming. Today we had 6 groups that made this conference possible. The first group was the coordinators. They managed the groups and they made sure that all the groups were staying on task. They were Eileen, Michelle, and Nadia. The next group are the moderators. They manage the timing and the visual effects on the screen. They were Caesar, Joshua, Jacob, Jason, Andrew, and Trayden. Also the spokesmen, who spoke about the Common Core and the lessons that we learned so far in 6th grade, who were Chase, Taylor, Dylan, Celine, and Dominic. Let's thank the publications who invited you all today. So let's thank Ivan, Yadira, and Amanda. Our artists who created the visual aspect today. They are Kylie, Megan, Karina, Bill, Wilson, Amanda, Emily, Adrian, Miranda, Yadira, Sadie, Elijah, and Matthew. Lastly, we'd like to thank the facilities who made sure that we had everything to have this conference. They are Leanne, Megan, Samuel, Karina, Stanley, Jason, Noah, Ethan, and Ivan. We'd like to thank Mr. Westgate who gave us permission to do this conference. Now the orchestra is going to play a piece for you. Thank you.
taking the time to be here today. This project was coordinated by our student teacher, Miss Lee, over there. Miss Lee has been with us for the past 9 weeks, and the purpose of this project was for the students to show what they've learned. A large part of assessing Common Core standards is based on projects or performance tasks instead of paper and pencil tests. And so this project was a way for the students to show what they learned for the past couple of months. While Miss Lee was the assistant and really helped the students with this, I want you to know that the students did all of this work. They coordinated everything, they managed everything, they got the facilities, they put up all the props and decorations that you see. They provided the invitations that were sent out to the media and to the families. They provided the orchestra. They rehearsed after school. So the students did all the work. So let's give them another round of applause. We hope you've enjoyed, and thanks again for being here.